Hello Zainey friends, thank you for joining us here. We have for you today a collab with my Geeks and Beauties group, and we will be using the Carli Bybel palette. Now some of us have the deluxe version and some of us have the regular version, but we will all be creating makeup looks using this palette, so make sure you check everyone down below who is participating to see all the different looks that they are creating. Also, we will be talking about
the Orville.
Because we usually talk about things when we do our makeup tutorials, so you have something to listen to while I'm putting stuff on. 2 for 1. Make sure you follow us on social media, that's all down below, and that way you can see any other palette swatches. I have plans for lots of holiday palettes, so much so that I need to do a declutter. Of my already palettes of things I'm not using. But that is something for later. Today we are going to do this. So for this palette, we have shown this before. In fact, I think I might have actually done a look with it before, but this is what it looks like. So for today's look, I actually haven't put on primer. Hold on a sec. So for my eye primer, I just use the NYX eyeshadow base in white. That has seemed to be working the best for me right now, so I just use that all the time. So for starting off, I'm going to lay down a base with this color right here. None of the shades have any names. So this color is going to be a base, and then, what should I do? I really always dig this color right here, so I think I'm going to use that in the crease to start off with and go from there. Let's talk about the Orville. So at this time, we've only seen 1 episode, although 2 at the time of this posting will be out. So keep in mind, we've only seen 1 episode of it so far, but
yeah,
it's,
I'm gonna start off. I love this show a lot.
Tell them why.
Okay, so I don't watch it all the time, but I have watched Family Guy and American Dad, and I've kind of been okay with the humor that's in there. But when we came to this show, which is by the same showrunner, Seth MacFarlane, he's a nerd. He definitely is. In fact, I'm pretty certain that he's a Trekker, especially because he did say that he wanted to do a revival of Star Trek a while back, but the timing was never right and things like that. And now, with Star Trek Discovery coming out and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 having just come out, now the time is right for a space parody.
I think that that's another good point, and we will be probably doing one on Star Trek as well as other new shows as they come up, because it gives us a lot of things that we can talk about, and we haven't been able to go to the movies a lot lately just because we've been so busy with the wax company. We just haven't had time, but we spend some time in front of the TV as we're doing like different things with the wax company, so it's easier for us to watch shows. So that's probably what we're going to be focusing a lot on when we're doing these kinds of tutorials.
This show is a very direct parody of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
And it reminds me a lot of Galaxy Quest, if you've ever seen that. It's so much.
A lot of the aesthetic of the show comes from Galaxy Quest, but when I watched through that first episode, almost every scene was directly ripped right out of Next Generation and then twisted. So, like, there's this scene where the shuttle pod kind of comes up and over everything to see the Orville for the first time. And while, you know, a lesser director who doesn't know very much about Star Trek would have completely skipped that scene. It's like, who cares what the ship looks like on the outside to people in a shuttle pod? That's been the subject of many different discussions, like, for the characters about their ship.
And let's be real, that shot lasted far too long. Like, normally they would be like, let's look at the ship. This was like, let's look at the ship here, and here, and here, and here. And I was dying because that was what was so funny about it. Because not only were they paying homage, but they were also poking fun at the same time. So I thought it was hysterical.
Because the Star Trek movies, the older ones, they did that.
Yeah.
They did all of these shots all the way around the ship as the people were coming in. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
That's fine.
What's the story here?
Well, I will tell you the story.
What's the story here?
Here, first. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do now is place a color on the lid. I think I'm going to go with, so these ones down here are more like highlights, but I think I want to do this one right here on the lid, and then this one like in the outer crease on the lid and work it up. And then I think I might also want to do, ooh, I really dig this color right here, this pinky color. I'm going to do that in my lower lash line. And this one as a highlight for the brows and the inner corner. Just a lot of sparkle going on today.
So this story is all about Ed Mercer. And he's the captain of this new ship, the Orville. And he really got the assignment because they are almost out of captains, and the captain of that ship retired. He's been not quite in the game for a while, ever since his ex-wife was cheating on him and he caught her. He's been kind of delinquent.
I'm just laughing about that. Like, the way he finds them is kind of like, wow.
Yeah. Because she's cheating on him with an alien, and apparently stress bleeds blue. When the guy finds out, he's like,
yes.
we're just gonna say it's stress bleeding. Done.
Done. We're a family channel.
But it's from there he goes onto the ship, and the people that are already there are pretty competent, actually.
Yeah.
When he gets there, he's like, wait, why are you even on this ship? This is mid-level exploration. Why aren't you on a flagship? What's going on with this crew that they're here?
Yeah. So he counts himself lucky.
Yeah, he does. He also brings over his best friend, who is the helmsman.
Drunk helmsman.
Very drunk.
So drunk.
And had been on desk duty for a good long time because of his exploits and also pranks.
Drunk helmsman.
Yeah. And his first officer ends up being his ex-wife. Now, it's not a huge spoiler, but at the end of the episode, we find out that her father is friends with the Admiral, and she had been working to get Mercer this job. She had used as much pull as she could to get him this job because she felt so bad about what she did. And I kind of respect her a little bit for trying so hard to make it up to him.
Yeah. I mean, she even said that she had made a mistake, and she was trying to make amends for it. But obviously, he's hurt. He doesn't want to deal with that. He's going on this new adventure, but guess what? He is. He has to deal with it.
He's got to deal with it. But not only that, like at the end of the episode, they don't completely reconcile. But he's like, "You're really good. Stay." So he's not completely forgiven her, but he's forgiven her enough to work with her.
Yeah, this is not one of those shows that's like twisty at all. It's very straightforward, and so I feel like, we're not really going to spoil anything about what happens. There are things that happen that, like, they're funny. They are very indicative of Star Trek, for sure.
This is Star Trek as if it wasn't in front of a whole bunch of flagship people. It's as if it was lower on down in the ranks, and it was people that have lives other than being starship people.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really liked that. It made it more real, but it wasn't dark at all. It was the same level of hope and just happiness that Star Trek exudes. It has that spirit.
I mean, it is not, like, my husband said he couldn't really watch it that much. It is not, like, the most hilarious thing I've ever seen, but if you genuinely like sci-fi, and you will probably enjoy it. If you like Seth MacFarlane humor, you will probably enjoy it. My problem with the show is mainly Seth MacFarlane, and as an actor and not as a content creator, because he's very deadpan to me, like, but the rest of the cast I think really carries this a lot more than he does.
I really also like his characters that he brought into this show. So many of them are directly from other shows, but done lovingly.
Yep, I would agree. I'm going to use this in my waterline. This is the ColourPop in Show Me. and that's going to be my lower waterline, and then I'm going to use the NYX Epic Ink liquid liner. You guys, again, I cannot stress enough how much you need this liner in your life. I love it. It only costs like $7. You can get it at Ulta. You can get it at, I believe, also Target has it sometimes. It stays on all day, and I don't mess it up. Like, even when I have a really unsteady hand, I don't mess it up. It's amazing. You guys, get your hand on this.
So some of those characters, like, one of them is, her name, Alara Katan. She's played by Halston Sage. She comes from this planet where it's got a huge amount of gravity, and scientifically, the scientists all say, if they come from a planet with higher gravity, they're all going to be shorter. She's this cute little girl with super strength, and super strength enough to like jump all the way across a courtyard in one bound. I thought she was really refreshing, actually.
Yeah, she's really cute. Yeah.
There's also Isaac, who, when he first shows up, you're like, oh, this is Data, because he's an android, and he's very obviously an android, completely metal skin with glowing eyes. But after a few seconds, you realize that he has some elements of Data, but he's really a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
He's a xenophobic race. They're all artificial, and they hate organics.
Exactly. Last, I have this new product. It's Dose of Colors in Stone. I have only used this once when I went to work. It doesn't last a super huge amount of time, but I really do enjoy it. So I'm going to add this to my look today. And let's wrap up what we thought about Orville.
Sure. Actually, the one last thing. Do you know who played as the computer voice?
Oh man, I did hear it and I remembered, but now I forgot.
It's Seth MacFarlane's wife, Rachel McFarlane. So he's kind of keeping the tradition because Majel Barrett, who was Gene Roddenberry's wife, played as the computer in other Star Trek shows.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a direct thing. They also have two directors for different episodes that actually played in Star Trek. Jonathan Frakes is directing one episode. So I think that this show, while the critics did not like it at all, it is in love with Star Trek and other sci-fi shows, and then does a comedy from that.
I agree. So if you guys are like something, lighthearted, but like still a little geeky, definitely check out the Orville. It's on Fox on Sunday nights. But yeah, this is my final look. I do like how the Dose of Colors smells. It's kind of a vanilla color. I am really torn about foundation right now, you guys, because I have been trying different foundations and they feel like they just settle into my pores of my chin, and then right here, just major oxidization increasing, and I haven't even been wearing it that long. I have like maybe 2 foundations right now that I'm actually very happy with. So if you guys have any recommendations, please leave them down below because I need them like now. Mm-hmm. Yes. So anything else?
No.
All right. This is my final look. Make sure you check everyone out below. But until next time,
stay zany.
Bye-bye.